afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guess what today is?
It's very loud, very abrupt and aggressive.
I'm not throwing things. Guess what today is?
What's today?
Story time.
That was a very nice story
I
time.
don't want to do that. Is it really a story time?
It's kind of a.
I don't think it's a story time. I feel like you lied.
It's a little. It's a little frustration.
Anyway, so the impetus of all of this, we work in the technical transfer arena.
And love it.
Love it. Live it and love it. High five. Ding! That being said, what was the ding for? I don't know. I like doing things.
Okay.
That being said, we do get frustrated from time
Yes.
to time. And our frustrations are focused on if we can separate technical transfer into three phases, the development of the idea, the certification or validation of the idea, and then the bookcrete, labcrete, and then going to the realcrete. It's
And
a
the
rich stage here.
acceptance of the real crete.
So that's the realcrete. There are many factors that go into it, and oftentimes there are gatekeepers and key holders. Wow, I'm going a good direction with this. Gatekeepers and key holders who bar entry based on their own political or
Predetermined notions about what it is or is not.
or agendas. Can't even assume to know what those are. Especially, so let's start off with the story. Once upon a time, I had a full head of hair, a majestic mane. I had it. Okay, so worked with this client, had an amazing technology. Let's call it a liquid additive, right? It could be a liquid additive that's used on the top surface, integral mixing, sprayed in the joints, whatever. It's a liquid additive. And our client went through the bookcrete, the development of the idea through small scale testing, the labcrete, taking it to a higher scale, usually focusing on ASTMs, ENs, ASHTOs, the certification and guidelines for specification. And then part of that going through the DOT.
Right.
And then the last part, the real crete, is where our clients started having problems. Because these two, the first two are pretty easy. They're controlled.
Right. A checklist, if you will, of tests, performance characteristics, etc.
You know, the third one, that's where things that real crete is where things go wrong.
A lot of variables that you cannot control.
My father said it best. I asked him, and my father's, works with us in concrete, but he's not into concrete. He's a mosaic artist, but not a concrete artist like we are. Dad said, well, Jonathan, you can relate it to getting a mortgage. I said, what?
Also, a brilliant mortgage salesman back in the day.
A brilliant salesman.
Right.
I said, what? Me being the understanding son and patient. I said, what do you, what? No, what do you mean? And he goes, getting a mortgage is not difficult. It becomes difficult when you start adding people into the process. It's like getting a mortgage in a small Colorado town versus getting a mortgage in New Jersey. It was just by the sheer statistics, you're going to have more assholes in the process. Not everybody in New Jersey are, just more people than a small town in Colorado. So inherently,
We got our mortgage in New Jersey.
and of course, we dealt with a bunch of. So that being said, when we're in the labcrete versus realcrete, it's very easy. There's not as many people in the process. It's reduced, and all we're doing is looking at the raw data, and we have to make decisions, analyze that data, and discussion, judgment, validation, blah blah blah.
Right.
But when we go to that realcrete, and that's what we're talking about today. So we had a client, had a technology, went through bookcrete, then labcrete, realcrete. Got in front of an end user, they did the testing for us.
Performed beautifully.
Holy moly guacamole! Saw 15 to 20% increases in this, that,
Cost savings, the whole bit.
and we can say this for a sprint, and you can tell by my tone. Like I feel like I'm about to.
A little hot right now.
So
It's fresh.
it's fresh and it's frustrating.
Yep.
Because I had a wonderful conversation with somebody that I hope that I can call one of my mentors. I don't know if I can actually say that. One of the most brilliant minds, practical as well as scientific minds in the concrete industry. And we're gonna have an interview with him next month. He's gonna be coming out here. Next month? No, September.
September. Almost next month.
And our discussion was the economics of concrete and the reality of where we are at on raw materials. In about 5 or 10 years, we're going to have to start making some really tough decisions about the type of material that we use to make standard concrete.
Mm-hmm.
You forget making it last strong or stronger and last
Right.
longer.
Just to make great concrete.
And people on islands, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, know what we're talking about.
They're already realizing and recognizing this problem. They're in
Japan,
Right.
they've already made the adjustment for how many years now? So we're on this phone call, GTM, whatever we were on, or WebEx, a Zoom, if you will.
I don't think it was the Zoom. I think it was the GTM.
The point that I'm trying to make.
Topic here.
No, of course not. The point that I'm trying to make is we were all communicating based off of data set that the
Right.
end user had come up with, and they were ignoring
The features and benefits.
the features and benefits, and they were, well, we'll need this. Can you get us this data set? Can you get this data set? Can you do this? Well, it depends on what we need, and we can't really rely on this, but this thing is so important. And at a certain point, I might have lost my patience.
Little bit.
I lost my patience.
It is incredibly frustrating though if there is a solution
Right.
to a problem that is recognized by all and people just want to say no
Just saying.
for
no.
whatever reason.
Just say no.
And it's like, don't freaking waste our time. Like, just say no to begin with, you know?
So, now that I've got my frustration out,
Oh, I'm so glad you got it out. Isn't this a cute picture?
I know.
One of the kids.
Now that I've got my frustration out, what's the lesson that can be learned here? How can we do better with this? Listen, if I have this doctor that I go to, I try to stay away from prescription medicines, try to go the more natural route, and I remember my Auntie Lindsay said to me, I'll introduce you to this doctor, but don't go if you're not going to believe in him.
Right. You gotta buy in.
You gotta buy into not the technology. You don't have to do that at all. There's some technologies that suck.
Right.
I've used them.
Right. But be open to the results.
Be honest and believe in the process.
Right.
Because if you have 5 data sets, and all 5 of those, if you actually have 10 data sets, let's just say, let's use that, n equals 10. It's a very magical number in statistical analysis. When n equals 10, you have a nice sample set.
Right.
So if you have 10 data sets that shows you your technology sucks, or the technology sucks, okay,
Right.
make a decision. And if you're comfortable with it,
Right.
but if you have one data set that shows promise, the one thing that you know is you have one data set that shows you promise.
Right.
And you need to continue on.
Something
March forward.
worked. Something worked with
Something worked.
something.
And that at least qualifies, warrants.
A second look.
That's why I married her. So, the lesson that can be learned is be religious, be honest
Right.
with the process, and believe in the process.
Yeah, and if you have already decided that you don't want to know about it, don't waste your time and their time.
Right.
Like if you just for whatever reason are not going to buy in, then just
There are
say
reasons to say no.
Right.
Right, but
But
be
if
honest.
you really are looking for a solution, and quite frankly, as engineers, it is our job to find the most efficient and most effective way to do things. So why is this such a problem? Why is there such a disconnect? Because that is what we are supposed to do. That we are literally trained to be problem solvers. So if there is a solution, why are we so hesitant to try it out?
Oof. Make a decision based on the data set that's in front of you, and you're never going to go wrong.
Right.
Even if that means do another test.
Right.
Oof, get heated about
I
this,
know, right? It's something we're very passionate about.
Well, it's
And there's
what we
issues
do.
and there's solutions.
Well,
So
the
it's
jacked up thing is like people think that when we come out with a new technology, they're the first ones we've ever used
Right.
it. And if they are, we'll let them know.
right.
But more often than not, when we're out with somebody, we've done this tens to 50, hundreds of times.
Right.
Do they think we're gonna just trying to sell them shit in a bottle, shit in a bucket?
Well,
And
and
a
it,
super sack. It's
no, I don't know.
oof. Okay.
Anyways,
So thanks for joining us today. Hopefully you learned something. Whew. I'm gonna go for a run after this. Take a shower, smoke a cigarette. Do we smoke cigarettes?
No.
We don't smoke cigarettes.
at all.
Let us know if you have any questions, concrete concerns. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ding that bell for notifications. Go concrete!
Beat asphalt.